Time for your ABC 36 Storm Team forecast.
Man, really pleasant afternoon that we're having out there. Never would have thought that this morning because it was really cold.
Very chilly, and it could have been even colder if not for some clouds and a bit of wind holding temperatures up. But that's not going to be the case tonight. In fact, I think tomorrow morning that will be our coldest of the season so far, and even some freezing conditions. As mentioned here, could be upper 20s and low 30s. Now here in Lexington proper, probably around the freezing mark. It's those outlying areas of concern, and that's why we've got the freeze warning in place. So you definitely want to protect those plants. If you want to hang on to them a little longer, as of course we rapidly approach the end of the growing season. It's pretty ideal fall weather into this upcoming weekend. High temperatures are going to be climbing back into the 70s. Now, we started out with plenty of sun this morning, but when you have a colder air mass in place, the sun comes up, kind of stirs things up a little bit. You get that lift, and you see the scattered clouds on the visible satellite. They are beginning to break apart as the sun is heading down. Now, this time yesterday, we were dealing with a lot of showers. Just a few of those left over. Actually, looks like with that northwest flow, even a little bit of lake effect activity with showers there in eastern Ohio and parts of western Pennsylvania. Some of the clouds hanging tough, especially northeastern Kentucky down I-64. Notice in front of the Montgomery County Courthouse, mainly overcast, 54 there in Mount Sterling. Looking at Casey County and Liberty, a little bit more in the way of sunshine there at the Kentucky Mesonet site where it is 52. So a decent recovery, but the combination of the clouds and the northwest wind, 5 to 10, occasionally 15. That's held our temperatures into the mid-50s for highs. Of course, they are backing off a few degrees, but compared to 24 hours ago when we had the very chilly rain, about 4,000 to 5,000 feet above the surface, that's where the colder air, the freezing line was. So that rain brought that down to the surface, and that's why we were in the mid to upper 40s much of the afternoon yesterday. You see the low 60s out west. That's headed our way into the day tomorrow. Big chunk of real estate across the central and eastern U.S. under the influence of high pressure here, and it will drift to the east and settle in after the sun goes down. Clear skies, lighter winds, optimal radiational cooling conditions, and what that is, of course, that's where what little bit of warmth we have at the surface is easily lost into space, so we cool off at the surface much more efficiently. Here in Lexington, again, right around freezing. It's the outlying areas, especially the sheltered valleys, that could see those upper 20s. And then tomorrow afternoon should make a run at 60s, still below average, but should feel pretty good. Upgraded to a freeze warning. I don't think we're looking at a widespread hard freeze, not a killing freeze by any stretch, but enough, again, in some of the valley areas, the sheltered spots, to drop into the upper 20s. So some of those plants, again, could be in jeopardy if you don't cover them up or bring them in. Speaking of our frost and freezing conditions and the averages, ironically, our average first frost today here in Lexington. First freeze on average near the end of the month, and the hard freeze that basically wipes out the growing season. That's generally in early November. Sometimes it can be a little bit earlier. High pressure, it'll drift to the northeast. So we're going to see a little bit of a return flow begin to kick in. Even Friday morning could see some patchy frost, but the high is going to settle into the eastern Great Lakes, and that's going to allow temperatures to recover nicely. So some pretty perfect fall weather heading into the weekend. The upper level pattern, we will see a shift in that. The cold air will be replaced by a warmer air mass, and again, the timing pretty ideal for the upcoming weekend and beyond. This is that stretch that we see many years in October where it is very delightful with some cool to chilly mornings and some very nice afternoons. That's what's on the way. Widespread frost tomorrow morning. 33 here in Lexington, outlying areas even colder. Anyway, slice it up, you're going to need the jacket in the morning. More sunshine, we'll call it pleasantly cool. Winds a little bit lighter tomorrow in the extended forecast here. Looks good on Friday. Perfect night for high school football this deep into October. Weekend, make some plans, get out and enjoy it. Lots of fall festivals going on, low 70s. Still looking good heading into early next week with afternoon highs a little above average, back into the mid 70s.